Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. Speaking of friends, I'm with two of my very good friends, Willie Walls and Odell Blocker, the great Swame. Guys, I feel the need to win this week. I feel the need, and I feel like we're onto something this week. There are a lot of good plays out there, and there's a lot of, I think, what I call red herrings, meaning fake plays that I think that look better than they really are. Willie Walls, are you ready to win money this week?
Absolutely. We are, I think we are 15 months pregnant,
So tell me, how many months pregnant are you?
Doc, at least 15, likely more. But Doc, here's the good news. Willie has been helping folks win money all week, including he was a part of helping someone come in first place on Monday night. So Willie has been doing a great job of winning folks money, both in parlays, Doc, and in DFS. So
you had a huge parlay last week, didn't you?
Yeah. Let me shout out. One guy. I'm gonna shut him out. I call him. He's our frat brother, Brian. Man, he's been white hot on these parlay bets. He's been balling, and he took down a GPP last night. He took down a single entry. For that one game slate, he had a hell of a lineup. That lineup was.
Do you have Tim Patrick and Christian Watson?
Yes, he had Patrick in the captain slot.
Oh,
yeah, he had him in the captain slot.
Yep. He only had one lineup, Doc. That was the $5 single, and he played that in the other game too and came in second.
How would you come up with Patrick in your captain slot?
Willie,
sir, he talked. Listen, we were talking about it, man, and I mean, he was talking about he the one that learned me about Patrick. He said, "Look, man, Patrick's the play," So I wasn't thinking about him in a captain slot, but that was a hell of a play, and that enabled him to get the other, guys that was with that, to help me able to get Montgomery's and Watsons and the other guys that came along with that, and before you know it, man, he had a unique lineup and he took it down.
Good for you, Brian. Good for you. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. All right, let's get it started, guys. Atlanta, Minnesota, the Kirk Cousins revenge game, Willie. Kirk Cousins has been the largest cheeks I've ever seen in my life. That's how big those cheeks are. Are those cheeks going to shrink this week, or are they going to get even bigger?
Let me tell you something. He will have to do it without me. I'm not playing him against that Minnesota's defense. Not only no, but hell no. I understand people see Kirk. Listen, I don't care. Revenge factor, he stinks. I mean, he looks awful. Really. Listen. He's got to do it without me. I'm just gonna tell you right now. He's got to do it without me. I would have more interest in Donald on the other side, and I'm gonna tell you, the guy that's 15 months pregnant with me is Justin Jefferson. That bastard has been man. He's over. He got 2 terms pregnant. So if this is the week, if he can't do it this week, you can't play Justin Jefferson for the rest of the time.
Swami, I don't know if you heard the first look, but Trevor said he went to the game, and in the first half, Jefferson was running 20 and 30-yard passing routes, and in the second half, they moved him closer when he started to dominate. Are you with Willie? Are you with Jefferson? Drake London, is he in play? Is Darnell Mooney in play? Who do you like in this game?
The game is interesting for the reason you said. Even though I think Cousins, your cousin, my cousin, he has been, as you said, tremendous cheeks. I'm talking Niecy Nash. I'm talking Buffy the Body. It is awful the way that he's been playing. But revenge always seems to motivate these guys. It always seems to be something they can get up for. And when better, Willie, to break out than against your old team. And what does that mean? That means Drake London is in play. Maybe you could resurrect Pitts, but I am off of that train. And I think Mr. Robinson becomes a man of interest just from the fact of, if you need big plays, get on the ball, in the screen, out the backfield, I think he could bring something to it. So it is something interesting there from a revenge perspective. And then I even think with Jefferson, yeah, you should make in-game adjustments if it's not working very well. I don't think that means that he's not a play. I think it means that the team is actually making in-game adjustments like they should, and that's probably to his benefit. So I'm not mad at Jefferson this week. A little bit of interest in Jones, but if you're going with the game theory of the revenge, Doc, I'm telling you, I'm with you, and I like it.
Jefferson is the second highest receiver on the DraftKings slate. If I play him, I can't play Saquon. Am I willing to sacrifice Saquon to get Jefferson in my lineup? That doesn't seem like a really good life decision.
I'm not, Doc. But again, I said I'm with you. If you want to play crazy one time, hey, let's go.
Let's not go that crazy, then.
But
Willie, do you agree with what I'm saying? Like, it's 700-800, it's expensive.
I'm gonna have more. Listen, Barkley is almost a lock button, almost. But I think in this slate, with the value, with the running backs that are here, I think you can play them both, because you got a guy named Mr. O'Connell of those Los Angeles. He is a very interesting guy this week. Very interesting at that price point. So I think it's possible to get them both in your lineup, to be honest with you.
All right, let's get to the Giants and the Saints. Look, Alvin Kamara is going to cost us $8,000, but you don't have Taysom Hill anymore, which now if they get by the goal line, it's Kamara's ball. Marquez Valdez-Scantling could make a play. Juwan Johnson may make a play. Swame, Tyrone Tracy, Neighbors. Or is this game just so horrific that we don't want to invest against with bad quarterbacks?
It's very close to being horrific. If I were to take anything, if you offer me anything here, it would be Kamara. Outside of that, the next, and it's not close, a distant second is Tracy. But because of the quarterback play, I don't like Tracy as much. I think Kamara without Taysom, touchdown, Vulture, Hill in the lineup is a match.
Willie, will you be in on anybody in this game?
Pass. I'm not, and I don't even come on, because I think Miller. I think somebody's back. Listen. I don't think he's getting that ball like that, like he was getting it before. So I'm just gonna pass. And since I'm playing Saquon, I cannot play that. I can't play him.
I like Kamara more at home than I do on the road. Maybe I'm wrong with that. I just like him more on the turf than I do in Giant Stadium.
Mm.
All right, Jacksonville, Tennessee. I know this feels like a stinky game, but I don't know if it is. I think that Will Levis, Calvin Ridley, certainly in play. Maybe NWI, Nick Westbrook-Akeen, Willie. On the other side, Mac Jones does stink, but you do have Brian Thomas. You have an Ingram. I think this game may go over. It's like 39.5 points. I don't know if it's going to go way over, but it feels like an over to me. Are you playing anybody here?
I mean, I thought about Akina, but then I looked under the hood, man. He can't, and it's just like Val Scanlon, it's catching up with him. You can't continue to get 3 targets, and 2 targets and get where you want to get. Yeah, he's going to regress. It's going to regress the other way, So Akina, you cannot play, but the guy, if you had to play anybody in this game that would be interesting, would be Ridley. The way they play defense and the things of that nature, Ridley's not a bad shot in this game. But I mean, honest with you, I mean, this game is okay, and of course Brian Thomas, but it's just not it's not something that grabs me in this game. So I'm not going to have too much in this game. The only one, like I said, that I would be really interested in would be Ridley.
Swami, I like Ridley. I like Tony Pollard. I do. I like them both. I think they're really good plays. But is Ridley a great play? Is he going to be the I had to have it play at 5,700?
I'm agree with both you and Willie, Doc. First, I think this is the kind of game that Sunday we could look back and go, man, I saw these guys. I should have had more of him. Why didn't I play him? But it also could be the same game where we're texting each other and going, I'm glad I stayed away from it. It is complete and total cheeks. And while I'm disappointed by Pollard, by Ridley, by Evans, by both teams consistently throughout the year. Lawrence took a horrible shot last week. We don't know what we're getting there. The defenses are probably more in play here than anybody on the offenses, just because they're just not consistent, right? Could we sit here and make a case based on matchup about Ridley or even Pollard? Heck yeah. But if something's going to happen Sunday that I just feel like is going to that Charlie Brown thing. We're going to go to kick the football is not going to be there. And for that reason, I'm down on this game. But, Doc, it does have that potential that you mentioned. That's why I said I agree with both of you. It does have that potential.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the game that Willie mentioned. the Vegas Raiders against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's a lot to unpack here, guys. A lot. Aiden O'Connell at that price in play. Jacoby Myers in play. Brock Bowers, oh my God, in play. Mike Evans trying to get to that 1,000 yards. Bucky Irving, who's looked sensational. Willie, I want to forget Kate Otten. Are you going to play pieces in this game? Or are you going to stack this game? What's your approach?
I mean, I think you can honestly in this game. Now, it's not going to be a total core because I like some other things because of the value of the other backs that came on the slate. So I'm going to have to get away because Bucky, how much is Bucky this week? How much is Bucky?
66 on DK.
Yeah, so because I got two other value backs because I'm playing Saquon. Then I got two other value backs that are very interested.
You and everybody else.
I know, I get it, but hey, you know what? That's two spots, buddy. Like I said, we got 7 other spots.
I think one of those spots is. I think one of those guys is going to be a dog this week, and not a good dog. A dog.
No. I mean, and I might have a lineup or two, but I'm gonna tell you that. I mean, what I do, the stack that I do like a lot is I think that O'Connell, Myers, and Bowers stack is very, very, very interesting on this slate. I think it's very interesting. I think, I mean, there's for once. I mean, I'm gonna say this, Mr. O'Connell, he on DraftKings will be in, I think, at least 40 or 50% of my lineups as a quarterback. I listen. It's hard for me to get away from that. Somebody that that could get you 25, that could get you 6x at that price point. He is definitely a man of interest on this slate. So I am definitely interested in him, and also you could throw on Tampa. I mean, you could throw on Tampa. Tampa's pass defense is cheeks, so I just think this is a very interesting spot. And then if you want to run it back, I do not mind Mr. Evans either. I think Mr. Evans is definitely in play this week. So, yeah, I think this game has some fantasy goodness in it.
Swame, talking about Jacoby Myers for a second, we could be talking about 20% owned. Brock Bowers, 20% owned. I know you don't like the own discussion, but is this good chalk or bad chalk?
What I think I'll say about Myers is he's got 2 games where he's gone over 20 in the last 4, and he had another one where he had 15 points. So when you talk about a guy who's had, double-digit fantasy points 3 out of the last 4, especially 2 of them going over 20 at his price, I think he's still a man of interest. And so especially if you're talking about playing both him and Bowers and then coming back with Evans, I just like that combination. I feel like you get it all. But at his price, also, Doc, I'm not mad if you decide to go somewhere else at that price point, maybe because he's right there with kind of Brian Thomas or maybe Judy, who, we'll get to that discussion later. But so he's right there with a couple of people where I could see you if you want to go in a different direction. I'm not mad at it. I think overall, I like this game a lot. I know Walls talked about Bucky Irvin, and I was down on him, but I will say this, I was down on him because of the touches. Last week he got 25 carries. If he's going to see 25 carries and
he's number 1
backfield, then now it's different. Now we're talking about a totally different situation, and I don't think you regress with 30 plus touches. I think you can find some consistency in that. So he would become a man of interest if I thought they were going to run it that consistently this week against the Raiders. But I do like Evans. I think he's almost a lock. I think with Bowers, O'Connell, and Evans, they should probably be in just about every lineup.
But one thing what people don't realize though, the Raiders' run defense has been pretty stout lately.
It's the backfield. It's the combination of the two because he's also been getting to work out the backfield. And if
no, I get it, but I'm just saying they gets the run. They not that same Raiders team that you pick on all the time. They've been a lot better.
But Tampa loves the screen game. They're one of the teams that screen the most. They love it, and I think that's another way that they can get the back involved.
Johnny Danger mentioned that in his simulations that Sterling Shepard is coming up in a lot of the sims. $4,000. Interested?
I will put him back wherever he came up from.
Yeah,
put him back.
Yeah.
What about playing Baker with Bowers and Myers?
That's not bad, but Baker's just listen. If I want to do that, if I'm gonna play, I got to play O'Connell. I'm not gonna play.
But I know why Danger likes those. He's getting 7 targets over the last couple of games, And then if is that thing is if he get into the end zone at that price point, then it becomes that thing where he gave you 15 points. And it's so touchdown dependent. I don't know if I want to deal with Shepard.
All right. You mentioned Jerry Jeudy, Cleveland against Pittsburgh. Now, this is a 43.5 spot. People have seen the Steelers put up points. Cleveland put up points. Jameis Winston's throwing it as we speak. But why does Vegas only have this at 43.5 points, Willie? Something. Remember last week I told you that game Cincinnati and Pittsburgh was going to go up, and it did through the roof. This one feels like, I don't know, maybe it's going to be an under. What's your thoughts on this game?
You know, this Jameis says he's Santa, and then he's not Santa. He gives and he gives away. It's the most incredible thing that I've seen in my life. But I can say this: the way they moved Jeudy around, I do like that. I do like the fact that they made Jeudy. I might not get to Winston because it's a division. Unlike the divisional game last week, I think this is like this is more of a knuckle game here. I think Pittsburgh got some trying to get back for that game that they lost to Cleveland in that last game that they lost to Cleveland. So I'm not. I like them. I think Judy's still in play. You know, but that's all I'm really seeing here. I'm not getting to Winston. I know what he's been doing. I get it, and he balled his ass off that last game. One thing I'm gonna say is this: if they don't bring Jameis Winston back next year, you know,
he's going to start somewhere next year. He deserves to start somewhere.
Listen, that's the thing that gets me about this is he should be a starting quarterback somewhere. Because I'm going to tell you something. I know he makes those bad plays, but let me tell you something. He slings that rock, and unlike that rascal who's stealing money, who ain't playing no more, that dude, man. I mean, listen, I got respect for him. He needs to be starting for somebody. It's one team he can start for next year because he deserves it. So, but I am interested in Jeudy still because I think Judy's a man of interest. But that's all I'm getting in this game, really, to be honest with you.
Swame, I think Willie's forgetting a really good play in this game. George Pickens, right? They play a lot of man coverage. They play a lot of single high. Pickens going to feast. But is he going to feast to 120 yards and 2 touchdowns, or is it going to be 80 and a touchdown and I overpaid for him?
It's a scenario where you overpay for him. I think why the score might be down. They just played a couple weeks ago. Folks might forget that was the snow game. And even though it's a division game, it's the North. That was, the weather kind of contributed to the way that game played out. And I know last week you talked about the game, between Pittsburgh and the Bengals, where it had more points ever in any contest between them. And out of the 8 touchdowns scored in that game, I think half of those came in the last 16 minutes, right? Complete total anomaly. Can that happen again this week? Maybe, but I think that's probably not. So what probably looking at here, and Winston, let me just pause for a second, Doc, so I can comment where Walls already made a comment at. If we made a list of quarterbacks that can throw for 500 yards, I don't think we have a very long list. So, and I don't care how many of these prospects that everybody's in love with and I'm talking about Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams, the list, Trevor Lawrence, the list goes on and on and on. A lot of these guys can't throw for 500 yards. Will Levis. So the case is already made, right? Forget the pick sixes because guess what, Walls? Those jokers are throwing picks as well, but they're not throwing for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. So if the NFL wants to continue, these GMs want to continue to be goofy. It's not on Winston and his plea to deliver him from pick sixes. Winston, don't put that on the man upstairs. That's on you, buddy, and your coaches, because you continue to throw these outs for no reason in those situations. Anyway, I digress, Doc. I'll get back. I do like Jeudy. I think he's still in a good spot. I think Pickens, that price is, it's and
he's got a hamstring. He's got a little hamstring issue.
Oh, hell no.
That's got me pausing. I think the 2 touchdowns Chubb got last time might bring his name up, but I don't like it a whole lot. So from this game, if you made me, I could only probably even mention Frymouth on the other side, and I would stop there with Jeudy in front.
And I will have more interest if he's past his concussion than Mr. Austin. If I had to go there
Right.
on Pittsburgh's side, I think Mr. Austin has got to always get overlooked, and at a minimal price point, and
Right.
does the show.
All right, let's get to a game that I think is super, super interesting. And for the reason Philadelphia against Carolina. You would say this game wasn't interesting, but Carolina is playing better. This may force the Eagles to keep their guys out there for 3.5 quarters versus just halftime. Saquon Barkley, to me, guys, is the key to this slate. You play him, he runs for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. You had to have him, and if you don't, you lose. If he goes in and he runs for 90 yards and a touchdown, you overpaid. Willie, are you playing Hurts? Are you playing Devonta? Are you playing A.J. Brown? And most importantly, are you playing Saquon?
I mean, the main guy I got interested in this game is Saquon. I mean, he's one of the guys that in the league that has got, he's got over 5 36-point games. You know what I mean? So if you don't have this dude, and this is you. First of all, you saw what the Buccaneers did last week against this run defense, and Philadelphia ran the ball against the Ravens, who's got one of the most stout defenses against the run. So I mean, they have to cover Saquon up. He might get a little excited coming on the field going against Carolina this week. He will be in like at least 90% of them. I'm gonna have 20-something. He will be in 90% of my lineups. I'm gonna tell you, Saquon is a guy that I love this week. I don't know what you're running the back on the other side. You might be looking at Thielen, but I'm gonna tell you, Philadelphia's defense.
I don't think you need to run it back.
Yeah. I just think Saquon is just a great play. I'm gonna have him in most of my lineups, and if it doesn't work out, you're right. If he gets me 90 yards and a touchdown, I'm done. Because I overpaid for him. But I'm thinking it's going to be more like 150 and 2 touchdowns. And if he gets 150 and 2 touchdowns, I mean, you needed to have him. And I think he's going to break 170 or 60 yarder, and he's going to the house.
So Swame, this is the most important question. Willie just said it. If he breaks a 70 yarder and he goes for 150 and 2, you had to have him. However, because Garendo, because Braylon Allen, because these guys are now on the slate, maybe even Travis Homer, if DeAndre Swift is out, you have 3 cheap guys. Won't most lineups start with Saquon and Garendo? I mean, it makes sense to me. So how do we get away from that?
I think so. I think you even seen last week what Bucky was able to do. And Mike Evans, for that matter. So you can still see A.J. Brown and both Barkley being able to eat against the Panthers team. I think the only thing that's different, Doc, I think that the Panthers were able to keep up a little bit with the Bucs, which kind of pushed that pace and helped to create those outcomes. I don't know if they'll be able to keep that kind of pace with the Eagles, which then gets me back to, I think, Danger's quote of Barkley, which was, hey, let those guys eat. Let the other guys eat. And I think this could be one of those games where the other guys are eating, or where he could find himself getting touchdown vultured by Mr. Ertz after he's done all the dirty work.
Right.
And then now we're looking at that ridiculous play that I don't like, only not because it's effective, but because it takes from the running back. So, again, Doc, if your game theory is, you like something from Carolina, I just don't, then I could see it. But I would like either piece or both. And when I say both, it's either I could play Jalen and Barkley, or I could play Barkley and Brown. But other than that, I probably only want one in the lineup. And I think that's
I'm going to play Barkley because I think he won't get more than 20% owned. I think Kamara will be 40% owned. And I'd much rather have Barkley.
Interesting. I think a good average might be both.
There you go. That I agree with that. That's 100. I totally agree with that. I thought about a lineup today where I know this is going to sound crazy. Hurts, Barkley, Kamara. Start with that.
Ouch. You gonna finish
exactly why?
You gonna finish it with us 3?
Yeah.
Well, he's got good hands. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Isaac Kidd mentioned, what are my thoughts on Calcaterra? I kind of like him this week. He's dirt cheap, and I think he's in play on DraftKings. All right, let's get to our next game here, guys. Oh, speaking of those New York Giants against Miami. Breece Hall, Swame, most likely not playing. Our brain says play Braylon Allen. But if Breece Hall couldn't run on Miami, why is Braylon Allen going to run on Miami? He's not a great pass catcher. I mean, if he gets a touchdown, he's a great play. But if he doesn't get a touchdown, you're probably looking at 7 points. Are you willing to risk it for the biscuit?
So I know you said Giants stock, but I know you meant Jets. They're just as bad. So I get it. I get the Freudian there. But the short answer, Doc, is no. I think if I was looking at anybody here, obviously Chain because of the volume he gets in the offense. I think Waddle is a man of interest. I'm almost desperate at this point for Tyreek Hill to do something because of my season-long ties. And rule out. I can't just quite rule out Aaron Rodgers and one of his guys yet. He finds a way to either get it to Adams or Wilson. But I don't know if I like the backs as much. I just don't feel like they get any of them involved enough for them to have fantasy value. I think Rodgers might realize this might be his last hurrah, and he'd rather throw it inside the 5 than run it.
Willie, I know you like Braylon Allen. I know you like the bargain. How much are you playing him?
I'll probably have him in at least, about 50. I'm going to put him in half. I mean, I think it's worth a shot because I like a guy in that Rams game that we'll get to later on that's going against, Buffalo, that I'll have some interest in too. So if I'm not playing him, I'll play him against another guy who I like against Buffalo, who a lot of people are not going to play that I'll talk about later.
So he said he's playing Allen.
He said he's playing Allen in 50% of his lineups.
Yes.
Oh.
I said 50. I'm playing him. He's a talented guy. He's a bully. This dude is a bully, man. I mean, this guy.
Really, how about this? I'll play him on FanDuel, not on DraftKings. Agree or disagree?
I didn't even see his price. What's his price on FanDuel?
I don't know. Let's find out. One moment, please. Please hold.
Yeah.
He is 5,200. That's a free square.
Man, he in 100% over there. I'm playing him. I just got to take that shot.
Right. We're in DraftKings because of the receptions.
Yeah. But on FanDuel, but I just think that the one thing you don't have to worry about is that now the Jets are doing some dumb stuff, and they did that last week to Breece. They played this other dude who I forgot this dude.
Isaiah Davis.
Yeah, man, they might as well play Betty.
Isaiah Davis can catch a little bit. He was good in college. People were actually surprised after they drafted Allen that they drafted Davis because you're like, why do you need Davis? But Davis was a pretty good player in college. I'm not saying he's going to do anything. I'm just giving you the nugget. Yeah. All right. Seattle and Arizona. Last time these two teams played, it was poo-poo on a stick. What about this time, Swami?
Same stick, Doc. Same stick. Same stick. Same stick. No different, Doc. Just like 2 weeks ago, I think maybe the defenses are a little bit more in play. I know that's against what I would call conventional wisdom because you might like JSN and you might like McBride, and there's good reasons to like both of them. But it feels like both teams are figuring out a way to ruin those drives when they get close. So again, Doc, this is one of those boom or bust kind of games. Like I'll just talk about plays because the game just doesn't seem. It's going to make me choke as well, Doc. Even thinking about this game. Yes, but give me JSN, give me McBride. I think for sure I like McBride, and then I'll let you.
McBride could have 19 points in this game.
Yeah, outside, I know that Connor has better games in this matchup at home. His split is kind of awful, but I couldn't recommend it to those good folks out there, TV land.
Willie Walls, this game should be better than it is, but I have a feeling it could be like 23-21, 26-24, but we don't see the boom.
16.
Yeah, and I don't see the boom either. I mean, I do like McBride. I might have a couple of lineups with him. And I think this will be a game where they're starting to figure out how to get that ball to the receiver for Arizona.
Harrison?
Yeah, Harrison. I think Harrison could be a little sneaky play in this setup here. Worth taking a shot at. I mean, not a core, but if you want to, take a shot, but definitely listen. What McBride is doing now, he is coming. He is coming. He's coming into play. So I think McBride is definitely a man of interest to me. Like if you're not playing Bowers, I think you can play McBride.
Can Connor be sneaky?
Connor can be sneaky.
Connor can be sneaky at home.
Connor can be sneaky.
Can I tell you, Willie, why Marvin Harrison will never be as good as he should be?
Wow.
2 words. Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Watch the tape.
Hands.
Watch the tape. Harrison is open a lot. Kyler can't get him the football.
Yeah. I listen. You saying the right thing. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. He's horrible, man. I just.
They will never win a Super Bowl. Never get to a Super Bowl with Kyler Murray. I just don't think he's that good a quarterback. Maybe he's a great athlete. I'm not trying to knock him as an athlete, but he's not a great quarterback.
Yeah.
But McBride had 28 points without a touchdown last game. I guess that's true. He had a huge game.
And he is due.
He is due. But let me ask you this. Let's stay with McBride for 10 seconds, all right? Because it is a great play. Brock Bowers is 6,500. McBride is 6,100. Are you going to find a better receiver than McBride at 6,100?
That's a great way to look at it.
No. Just short answer, no. Not with the targets he's been getting. No.
Yeah.
So could we play Bowers and McBride and just call it a day?
I think so.
Not bad, right?
I think so.
All right. So let's see. Let's get to, Buffalo and the Rams. This one is 49.5.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's got a lot of things going on here, right? You've got Josh Allen, who's a really good play, James Cook, Khalil Shakir, again, zone coverage, maybe Knox, Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp. Willie, I know you like this game. You mentioned some sneaky plays in this game. Let me have it.
Well, the guy that I mentioned that I think is very interesting that has not done anything at all is Mr. Cooper. I think Mr. Cooper is a man of interest. The type of defense that they run, I think it gets to his skill set. And I think Mr. Cooper is a man of interest. And I think, if you're getting away from the chalk running back, I think Kyron Williams is the man of interest going against Buffalo's run defense. So I don't think that's a bad combination, that you can get going through this game. But I'm definitely interested in Cooper. And I'm going to have a lineup or two where I might play Josh Allen with Cooper because I think Josh Allen, listen, it's a GPP play.
Could you go Allen, Shakir, and Cooper?
I mean, you could, or Kincaid? Is he coming back this week?
He was questionable. Let me see if there's any last.
I heard he practiced 3 straight days, so it might be a possibility.
He may return to action. He is questionable, so it's going to be one that you figure out last second.
Right. But I think that could be a man of interest. Maybe Kincaid, and because I'm just saying, Cooper. Listen, it's time for them to unleash Cooper. You know what I mean? The weather was bad last week. We know about last week, but they're going to be in a dome. And I just think that, hey, this is a time where we might be hanging with Mr. Cooper.
I was just going to use that reference.
Yeah, So I like Cooper a lot in this game, and I'm very interested in Cooper in this game. So I like that, and I don't mind going back and forth. With my guy, Mr. Puka and Cooper. You know what I mean? So I like Puka too. I think Puka's a man of interest to me. The way Buffalo play their defense, their zone defense.
All right, now Swame Heat Override is a big Ram fan. He goes Knox all day, Cook, Allen, Williams. Now I guess he means Kincaid or Knox, depending. He said that's how he's going to attack his Rams. Let's just talk about it this way in the macro first, Swame, before you give me your plays. This game is 49.5. It's the highest one on the slate, but it doesn't seem like the game that people are playing. Are we overlooking this game?
Doc, I don't think so. Let me give you some fun facts. Because I got a couple of TV shows too, and they ain't hanging with Mr. Cooper. Mr. Stafford has played them a couple of times, 13 fantasy points, 12 fantasy points, and 10 fantasy points. Don't know if he's playing well enough where I like him against a Buffalo team that seems to have it going just a little bit more. I think I would probably lean more James Cook. I get what Walls is saying about Cooper coming back, but prior to last week's game, he had 31 fantasy points and I think 28. So he's not really bouncing back unless you say it from last week's game. He's been involved, just hasn't been involved as much as Puka. And then last week, Kyron Williams got off, which, somebody was going to be impacted in the passing game, and it was Cooper. But Cooper has had some pretty good games against them. Excuse me. So I'm not
I'm not talking about Cooper Kupp.
Say again?
I'm not talking about Cooper Kupp.
He's talking about Amari Cooper.
That's why I said I got a couple of shows I got in mind too, and it ain't hanging with Mr. Cooper. So I quickly off of Amari Cooper, that's not just a no, Doc. That's a hell no. So I could be, if I wasn't clear, TV land. So the only Cooper who would be in consideration is the Cooper who's played Pilly well against Buffalo the last couple of times he's seen him, and that's Cooper Kupp, not Amari Cooper at all. And Cooper Kupp, just so we know, he's got 34 and 28 fantasy points and 22 and 20 when he's faced that team. Amari Cooper, if he's still in football, I hope he suits up this week. That's all I got to say about it.
But Willie's play is going to be 1 or 2% owned. Nobody's going to play Amari Cooper. If he gets 2 touchdowns, our friend Willie Walls is going to be high on the scoreboard.
I'm just saying, you got to forecast things before other people see it. And this is a time where I think the way they run their defense, I am really interested in Cooper this week. I am.
Here's what gets me about Willie. It's the other side of Willie's neck. Maybe I don't know.
Tyrone?
Let me tell you, Valdez-Scantling, we can't look at him with the targets he's getting, right? 2, 3. Cooper's getting the same targets, yet he's a man of interest. So sometimes
the difference is that the quarterback play. You got Mr. Allen.
I think the difference is Valdez-Scantling is the last man standing, and Cooper still has maybe 2 or 3 guys that's.
I get it, but he still is ass, and he's proven the point of being ass the last couple of games. You can't live on 3 targets, man.
But significantly more than Cooper.
But what I'm saying to you is just watch this week and see who outscores who. I think Mr. Cooper is going to outscore Mr. Scantling. Mr. Cooper has pedigree. All Van Scantling got his ass agree. That's what he got.
I say put both of those guys in a box, Doc, and put them in the back of your closet. Don't play either one of them. Not this week.
All right, let's get to one more game here. What are we? Oh, yeah, Chicago. Well, 2 more games. Chicago, San Francisco. Willie is now going to tell us that Isaac Guerrero will be in 50% of his lineups.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he will be in 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
So you got Guerrero in 100, Saquon in 90, and Braylon Allen in 50.
It's math, not mathing, right? I get it. It never
does.
does.
This is not math, right? Don't worry about math. By the way, Permar, I agree. Travis Homer is in play if he's is in play if Swift is out. All right, Willie. I like Guerrero. Danger likes Guerrero. He is a very solid play. Not a great pass catcher, but Chicago can't stop the run. But here's the question, and I'm not trying to poke holes in Guerrero because I like the play. He doesn't catch passes. Let's give him 1 for 20. Let's give him 3 points. He's got to get 100 yards, and he's got to get a touchdown. If he gets the 100 yards, we're at 13, and we're in business. If he goes for 80, you're not taking down a tournament with Guerrero in your lineup.
Agreed with it, but I'm gonna take that shot because I've seen him play, and he can ball. He can ball. He runs hard. He's fast, and against the Bears, you don't need but just a little room. And the way Shanahan runs his offense. They're going to do that play action. They're going to do that, rollout play. And I think he might get a couple more passes. And I think a very interesting parlay is get him with 3 or 4 catches that nobody will be very interested, because I think he's going to do a couple of those little, like when he do that play action, roll the other way and throw through the running back. I just like him, and I think the Bears on the other side. I think the Bears are interested in this game too. So I think you could play this both ways. There's a couple of plays in this game. I mean, I like the Bears. I like the Bears receivers. Listen, that quarterback. That quarterback to me showed me something for the Bears. He could ball. You just can't beat stupidity. For the coach. And now they got rid of the coach. So we're going to see what's going to happen now that they got rid of that coach.
Well, that's an interesting point, Swami, because this guy, Thomas Brown, feels like Mike Tomlin 2.0, right? He kind of just has that, intensity to him, right? And this team needs intensity because Matt Eberflus looked like he was hanging out on the, Pacific Highway, just chilling there, right? Tell me about the Bears. Tell me about the 49ers receivers. Debo, Kittle, Jennings. Are you in on any of these guys? Or do we just go with Garendo, maybe bring it back with a DJ Moore? What are you doing, Swami?
I think on the 49ers side, I'm going to say at this point, their top receiver is Kittle. And for that reason, and behind him, I'm going to go Jennings. I'm not really sure if I could play Debo right now. If Johnson is out, I do agree. If Swift Johnson don't go, Travis Homer becomes a man of interest, I think, almost immediately, the way to use the back. But I will say this, Doc, is that I think the criticism about Garendo's pass-catching abilities might be a little bit, Doc, I'm more on the side that he's a 3-down back. I think he's both a willing pass blocker and as well I know he didn't have a lot of receptions in college at Wisconsin or when he transferred to Louisville. But he still, I looked at 46 minutes of film, Doc. He's got some soft hands. He can catch the ball. He had quite a bit of screens that he done. He still runs that 4-3. It's a lot to like about Garendo. Typically, I know you would maybe talk about ownership, and I know Walls, he loves cheap bastards and he chases that ambulance. But I think it's a lot of good reasons to want to play him. They might lean on him this week. They're at home. I can't see any reason why he wouldn't be in 100% of the lineups. And I definitely got some interest on the other side in both Homer or maybe Keenan Allen in that short passing game. I don't love it, but I think he becomes interesting.
Can we talk very briefly about late swap? So let's say we find out at 3:30 that DeAndre Swift is out. Do we immediately go into our lineups and get Travis Homer in? And if so, do you guys have a lineup that you almost this is your lineup, but if something happens, you're going to switch it to something else? Willie, you've been doing this for a long time. How do you approach late swap?
I mean, you have to match it up. I mean, you gotta think about it and say, hey, if this happens, you gotta have certain people at certain price points in each position, and you also have to make sure that you use the flex position. That flex position has to be free and open so you can make those switches. Because if you put somebody early in that flex spot, you're done. You're cooked. You can't do anything. You just box yourself in. But if you leave that flex spot open and then you leave a certain amount of money open, because what's going to happen. And the way it's been going lately is we've been finding out this earlier. Like, we will get something from Schefter saying that this person look like that.
It's good. It's better.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it hasn't been working like that. But, anybody, when you play, always leave that flex spot open. Do not, if you're playing somebody late, leave that flex spot open. Don't put somebody, who's playing early in that flex spot. Because you have no flexibility. But that's the way you have to do it. You have to time it up, and you got to leave enough money so you can be flexible in that spot. And I'm gonna do that in a couple of cases so you can late swap. And I always do that every once in a while. Like Swami and I will call each other and say, hey, what do you think about this guy? Because if you got to shake your lineup up, or if your lineup is ass, you need to do something differently on the other slate. Or if you got a real good lineup going, sometimes, and that's a chalk, then you might want to switch it up or something like that.
Right. Swami, do you use late swap?
No, not as much or as well as Willie. I think one of the first wins we had a lineup that was very similar, one of his first big ones. And he had that same philosophy that he said there. He had a late slot to a Denver running back that wound up having 2 scores and led Willie to a 6-figure win that day. So he is spot on with what he's saying. The only reason why is just because when I'm building, sometimes I get in trouble of not moving folks back around to the spot that they should be in. I've been trying to make sure that to leave that later play going in the flex for that reason. And even when it happens, I'm kind of overly cautious about, going the wrong way. I got a tendency. My uncle has got this dark cloud following me sometimes, Doc. And I got a tendency, no matter which way I go, Doc, on slap rock, Doc. No matter which way I go, it's going to be the wrong answer. So I just say, just let me
just leave it. Just leave it.
The first thought. But I will say that it's obviously a strategy that works, and especially if the news breaks late, for that reason, a lot of people aren't going to be on it. So for that reason, it's going to line up perfectly with a chance to take it down. But honestly, if all the backs were out, it's something about, I feel like somebody in that short passing game, more screens to Moore, maybe more dump offs to Allen, I might be a little bit in favor of as well, as opposed to just going to home.
All right, let's just do the FanDuel late night hammer. Chargers, Chiefs. I love Will Dissly. Hard for me not to use him at $5,100 on FanDuel. I like Ladd McConkey, but I'm worried about his shoulder, about his knees, got a lot of injuries. I don't think there's anybody, Willie, that I'm dying to play for the Chiefs. Maybe Travis Kelce, but I think I'm going to pass. I think to me in this game, it's just Dissly or nobody. What do you do?
I think you got two. I mean, I can see Dissly, but I'm not going to have too much in this. And very rarely would I say that, but I just think the Chiefs. I mean, with both running backs back now, you can't play Hunt. And you can't play the other guy. You just can't do it. Not at those price points. It doesn't make sense. Now, last week I was all up on the running back for Buffalo. I had a couple of people in that late line.
Cook?
Yeah, I was all on Cook last week. But you don't see that in this game. You don't see that in this game. So I don't think it's too much in this late night hammer. Besides, Disley and to me, when Dobbins is not there, Herbert looks different. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Herbert looks different without Dobbins. So their pass game is, ever since when he left, man, the offense looks different to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at something
more sluggish.
Yeah.
Swame, are you playing anything in this game?
I'm a Willie. I don't think I like it. I could see folks are like, hey, Aiden O'Connell was able to rip them up last week. Oh, Herbert should be able to do it. Bowers had this. Disley should have this. I think Walls has mentioned Disley a few times. I think he's had 2 decent games out of 12 or something like that. He is just consistently being inconsistent, along with just about all the other receivers. Ladd has probably only had a couple games. Johnson has only had a couple.
Ladd is very good, dude. Ladd is really good.
He's a heck of a receiver. They can't seem to get him involved consistently. That's the only knock on him. It's not him at all. And then now you add in a shoulder. Ladd jumps off of tape. He does everything. He catches the ball. He's fast. He's speedy. He makes plays. And yet he's got 3 games over 20, and then a bunch of games where they feel like they can't get him involved when they should.
He's like between 12 and 18 every week.
Yeah, but he's somebody they should be focusing on that offense. He's the best player on offense, and it don't feel like they are. Maybe it's because, like Wall said, without DK in there, their offense is just different. And because when DK was in there, really, Doc, he was probably taking up at least more of the touchdowns and more.
Dobbins, yeah, JK, yeah. So Raving Derelict asked about Quentin Johnston. Is he off the table? Swami, I think he's off the table for me. Is he off the table for you?
He's off the table. He's in that same box with Valdez Scantling and Amari Cooper, and put it in the closet. Back of your closet. Now, here's what I do like. Kelce likes to eat them up. I think Danger mentioned that on First Look. And I think for that reason, I wouldn't be mad at if kind of late with Kelce.
About Mr. Kelce.
And maybe I don't think I'd take anything. If Ladd was healthy, I would say Ladd. I just late night.
Listen, with Braille now and Garindo, we might listen. Kelsey might be. Listen, if Vlad is healthy, listen, he balls, man. I mean, if he didn't get hurt in that game last, he would have had a huge game against
Huge,
Atlanta.
right? He had a huge game. It could have been even bigger.
Yeah.
All right, Willie Walls. We can't even see you. Somebody asked if you fell into quicksand. Oh, there he is. He's out. Okay. Give me the stack, Willie.
The stack. The stack for me is like I said. I like O'Connell. I like Bowers, and I like Myers. And if you want to run it back with, a receiver, Evans, you can do that. But I'm gonna tell you, but what I do like as a little sneaky gang, as a back and forth, I like Kyron Williams, and I want to run. I'm telling you, I'm playing Mr. Cooper. I'm telling you, man. I am on Mr. Cooper this week. Mr. Cooper.
Wait, Ronnie, you'll feature this. Does the ceiling have an opinion on Quentin Johnston? Look up at the ceiling, Willie. Would you play Quentin Johnston?
No. Hell no. That bastard. No.
All right, Swami, who's your stack, Swami?
Doc, if I played this like Willie Walls and my goal was to give you the chalkiest thing imaginable, I would say Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah, but Doc, my grandmother could give you that stack. I'm not going to do that, right? This chalky madness is not why we're here on Friday Night Lights. So what I'm going to tell you, Doc, is I'm going to take a little bit more risk than old Willie over there, and I'm going to give you a stack that might take some stones to play.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, me
Say
too.
Say it.
Doc, I'm going to go.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Ooh.
Doc, I'm gonna go.
Who? Say it. Where's Sam Kinison? We need him now. Say it.
That's a great scene.
Doc, I'm gonna take it in the revenge game. I'm gonna go Kirk Cousins, Drake London, and I'm gonna bring it back with Jefferson.
Wow.
I'm gonna give you something interesting.
That's interesting.
And then because that's so risky, I'm gonna give you one more. This one is gonna be Pollard and Ridley come back against Brian Thomas.
That's interesting too.
That's why you come in on Friday Night Lights, not the plays you get from my grandmother at bingo.
Excuse me, Mr. Cooper, sir, you don't like him. Doc, Mr. Cooper is Mr. Cooper, sir. You don't like.
Doc,
he is not chalk.
I even brought some notes here, Doc.
And neither is Kyron Williams chalk.
I even brought some notes. I got you, and I brought some notes. And then on my notepad, it talks about the difference between ambulance chaser, cheap bastard, and balls to the walls. Let me know if I need to read these notes to you, Willie.
I think Cooper is balls to the walls.
I agree.
Cooper is absolutely balls to the walls.
Absolutely.
All right. I agree with Willie. The Raiders stack is the easy one. Yeah. I will give you the Dr. Roto sneaky stack. Nobody's playing it. I don't even think I want to play it. But you know what happens? Sunday morning, I get stupid. I see a single entry. It's like, I don't know, $27 on DraftKings. And I go, let me just press this button. Arizona, Kyler Murray, James Conner, Trey McBride. Maybe bring it back with a little JSN. Maybe that game explodes.
Crazy as you think with them at home, Doc. That is really good. I like that as a sneaky stack. That is really good as a sneaky stack. Yep.
The game that nobody's going to play.
Nope. And if it heat up, you already know.
Right.
And that's
all right. Cheap bastard play of the week, Willie Walls.
Cheap bastard play of the week. The cheap bastard play of the week is O'Donnell. He really is. I think he's the best. He is the cheap bastard play of the week. But let me give you somebody different. Let me give you Mr. Moore, who didn't have a bad game for Carolina last time. at 4,000. He had
He
9
was
points.
terrible last week.
He had 9 points. He wasn't terrible. He had 9 points. And you want a cheap bastard? Ain't too many cheap bastards I'm in love with. No, I'll tell you what. If Austin for Pittsburgh, that would be my guy, Mr. Austin. That's my cheap bastard. I like Austin.
Fair enough. All right. Swami, who's your cheap bastard play?
Like every week, I can't find a cheaper bastard than Willie Walls. But since I think we're talking about somebody who actually has a chance of catching a pass, I think Parker Washington would be cheating. So I'm gonna say I think Tyler Lockett's a cheap bastard. I
Interesting.
think if Metcalf is banged up at all or slowed, I think that could put him in a few more routes. And again, don't love it, Doc, but he's definitely down there in that cheap bastard range.
All right, I got 3 cheap bastard plays. Ray McLeod, in case Kirk is getting blitzed and he just has to get rid of the ball quickly. Juwan Johnson and Grant Calcaterra, 3,100. If I go a little crazy and play Saquon and Kamara and Justin Jefferson, I'm going to need some cheap bastards. All right, balls to the walls call from Willie Walls. Obviously, is that going to be Amari Cooper?
Hang with Mr. Cooper.
Swami says what?
Doc, I think this week.
Woo!
I think this week, Doc. I'm thinking more sneaky goodness.
Okay.
I'm thinking more sneaky goodness right here. And I'm torn between 2 plays. I might just give them both up. Because somebody I think nobody's necessarily looking at could be Khalil Shakir, but you mentioned him, Doc.
I like him.
You mentioned him. So I don't want to do it for that reason. And I already mentioned Waddle, but I think coming off the game he's coming off of, I don't know if that will fully qualify as a balls to the walls type of call, or Swami says. So, Doc, I'm going to go with Juwan Jennings this week.
Juwan Jennings, Danger's guy. Danger loves him.
Go with Juwan Jennings this week.
All
I
right.
think that everybody's going to be looking, see what's going off the backfield. I think it should open it up for him, a little bit, having everybody except, as far as the receivers out there. So I think it's a man of interest.
I'm going to give you a guy who, whether or not this other guy plays, I'm still playing him. I was talking about that Arizona-Seattle game. What about Zach Charbonnet? People will be on Garendo. People will be on Braylon Allen. Maybe Walker is supposed to play, and then all of a sudden he runs one time, and it's like, oops, my calf hurts, I'm out. Maybe Zach Charbonnet on the cheap. It's going to be my visionary play right there.
All right.
All right. Swami doesn't like it. I can see in his eyeballs.
Did Walker practice today?
Yeah. He's fine.
I'm just giving you I'm just throwing it out there. Some guys get hurt.
Yeah.
Walkers look like poo-poo recently. All right, just work with me. Work with me.
Okay.
All right. You good?
Yeah.
Good.
All right, so I'm just thinking about it. All right, listen, guys, catch us tomorrow morning on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio from 8 to 10. Come into our Discord Sunday morning from 10:30 to 12, and we hope you win big. For Willie Walls, the great Swami, this is Dr. Roto saying be well and
take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.